All right, let's dive into what might just be the most hands-on, practical habit of them all. Habit 3, put first things first. If habit 1 is realizing, hey, I'm the programmer, and habit 2 is, okay, now I'm going to write the program, well, habit 3 is the moment of truth. It's where you actually run the program, day in and day out. So let me ask you this. Ever had one of those days? You know the ones. You're just sprinting from task to task, your inbox is getting cleared, you're putting out fires left and right, and at the end of it all, you're totally exhausted. But you've got this little nagging feeling that you didn't actually move the needle on anything that really matters. That right there is the trap we're talking about today, the huge gap between just being busy and being truly effective.
This quote from Gofa, man, it just nails the whole idea of habit 3. It's really the core principle of managing ourselves. It's not about cramming more stuff into our day, it's about doing what's right. So the big question is, how in the world do we escape the constant pull of the least important things? Well, first, we've got to understand the main enemy we're all up against. And it has a name, the tyranny of the urgent. It's that constant, nagging, relentless pull of things that just demand our attention right now, whether they're actually important or not. Think of it like this. Habit 3 is where the rubber meets the road. It's where our vision becomes reality. In habit 1, we figured out we're in charge. In habit 2, we drew up the blueprint for our life. But habit 3, this is about the daily grind, the actual physical creation, and it's all fueled by our own independent will to make it happen. And to do this, we have to get crystal clear on this one critical distinction: urgent versus important. See, urgent things, they act on us. A phone rings, a notification pops up. They demand an immediate reaction. But the important things, the stuff that's tied to our deep values and our big goals, well, they require us to be proactive. We have to choose to act on them. So to help us really get this, Covey gives us this amazing tool called the Time Management Matrix. It basically breaks down everything we do into 4 simple quadrants. And this leads to a pretty big question. Where are you living most of your life? A lot of us, if we're being honest, spend our time here, in quadrant 1. This is the crisis zone. It's all about problems, looming deadlines, hair on fire mode. Now, we all have to be here sometimes, but if you live here, it just leads to massive stress, burnout, and feeling like you're constantly just firefighting. It is an exhausting place to be.
Then there's quadrant 3, which Covey calls the quadrant of deception. And this one is so tricky. Why? Because these tasks feel productive. They're urgent, but they're not actually important to us. This is the trap of living your life based on other people's priorities, and it leaves you with a really short-term focus, feeling like you're never really in control.
And finally, we've got quadrant 4. This is our escape hatch, right? The mindless scrolling, the binge watching, all the time wasters. It's the quadrant of waste. And look, a little escape can be a good thing, a nice relief. But if you start to live here, well, that road leads towards total irresponsibility.
Okay, so if quadrants I, 3, and 4 aren't the answer, then where do truly effective people spend their time? Where's the real secret sauce for a successful life?
Boom! Right here, quadrant 2 is the absolute heart of effective personal management. This is for the activities that are super important, but they're not urgent. Think long-range planning, building relationships, exercising, preparing for the future. These things aren't screaming for your attention, but this is where you get vision, balance, discipline, and ultimately control.
And this right here, this is the fundamental mindset shift. By investing time in quadrant 2, you are proactively doing the high-leverage work that stops so many crises before they even begin. You go from being a problem solver to an opportunity creator. You literally shrink quadrant I because you're starving it of fuel.
The great management thinker Peter Drucker put it perfectly. You feed opportunities and you starve problems. It's a choice, and that choice happens in quadrant 2. But there's a catch. Of course, there's a catch. To make time for this magical quadrant 2, you've got to master one absolutely critical skill, and that is the power to say no.
I mean, let's be real. Time for quadrant 2 doesn't just magically appear. You have to actively carve it out, and especially in the beginning, you have to steal that time from quadrants 3 and 4. That means you have to consciously say no to things that seem urgent but aren't important, all so you can create the space for a powerful yes to the things that truly matter.
And listen, this isn't just about having some kind of superhuman willpower. It's about having a purpose that's bigger than whatever mood you're in. As the researcher E.M. Gray found,
Successful people do the things that failures don't like to do, not because they magically enjoy them, but because their why is so much stronger than their I don't feel like it.
And that's the ultimate key. The power to say no with confidence comes from a much deeper place. It comes from having a massive yes burning inside of you. This is your personal mission, your vision, the whole thing you designed back in Habit 2. Without that clear, compelling purpose, we'll just always default to whatever's urgent and what other people want from us.
Okay, so once you're focused on quadrant 2, the next question is, how do you create even more time for it? This is where we go beyond just personal management and into personal leverage. It's about shifting from being just a producer of your own work to becoming a true manager of your time and your resources, and that includes the talents of other people.
Now, a key tool for this kind of leverage is delegation, but not all delegation is created equal. Gopher delegation is basically micromanaging. It focuses on the methods. The really effective way is stewardship delegation. This is totally different. It focuses on the desired results and gives other people the responsibility and the freedom to choose their own way to get there. And this visual just says it all. A producer puts in 1 unit of effort and gets 1 unit of output back. Pretty simple. But a manager, through effective delegation, moves the whole fulcrum. They can get 10, 50, maybe even 100 units of output for that same single unit of input. It is an absolute game changer.
So how do you do this stewardship delegation thing right? Well, it's built on a clear, upfront understanding across 5 key areas. You've got to agree on the desired results. That's the what, not the how. Then you define the guidelines they have to operate within, the resources they have to work with, the standards of accountability, and finally, the consequences, both good and bad. When all that is clear, it is unbelievably empowering for everyone.
So let's just pull this all together. The whole essence of Habit 3 is shifting your focus from the loud, noisy, urgent stuff to the quiet, powerful, important stuff. It's about proactively putting those Quadrant 2 activities on your schedule first. To do that, you need the courage to say no, and that courage is fueled by a deep yes to your own purpose. And then, to really scale your impact, you learn to leverage your time through smart, empowering delegation.
And that brings us to the final and most crucial question. I want you to think about it right now. What is the single most important but not urgent activity in your life that you know you've been neglecting? That one thing that if you did it consistently would change everything for you. And maybe even more importantly, when exactly are you going to schedule the time to actually do it?